This is our daily top 5 gainers and top 5 losers analysis for July 31st, 2019 in preparation for the first trading day of August. I'll be talking about 10 different stocks. I'll mention my technical analysis followed by my interpretation for my true market sentiment and trade and volume distribution charts of each of these 10 stocks. And then I'll give you my overall sentiment together with my recommendations. I'd like to mention here that everything that we're going to talk about here is geared for short-term trading purposes. Also, if any of these 10 stocks begin at a price higher or lower than the dominant range that I'm going to show you, make sure that you post a request for that stock's latest trade and volume distribution and true market sentiment charts in our private clients forum. But of course, do that if you are interested in trading that particular stock. Let's begin with PXP. PXP closed today at 10.14. It broke above, a little bit above its previous resistance at 10.05. The previous support was at 6.78, but since it broke above the previous resistance at 10.05, that price point is now acting as its immediate support, and its immediate resistance is now at 13.6. So foreign investors, on the other hand, registered a net foreign selling worth 2.8 million pesos. Our 10 SMACD combo remains valid. RSI is still about 10 to 9 points away from entering the classical overbought level. Risk level is high, however. On the DMI, the positive DMI is increasing its distance from the negative DMI, but the ADX score is still below 25 points. So if PXP will continue to rise higher than 10.14, maybe around 10.15, perhaps ADX will reach a score of 25 points, which will result into getting a very strong upward level category for PXP if and when that happens. Okay. Now let's check on to the trade and volume distribution chart of PXP with respect to the closing price of 10.14. Well, it's evident here that the dominant range is between 10 peso per share all the way to 10.14. 10 to 10.14. Okay. We can also include 10.16. 10 to 10.16 is closer to the intraday high than the intraday low. Therefore, our momentum power indicator is bullish in this case. The true market sentiment for PXP is, let's double check, it's bearish on the other hand, meaning to say perhaps those who managed to enter a new position at a lot lower price are hesitating if PXP would really be able to break above 10.05 or continue its ascent above that level. So they are in an eavesdropping mode. They are in a wait and see mode as well, waiting for some major buy up transactions from their fellow brokers perhaps. So that should not be our problem, because if you still have a PXP and if it's still trading above your trailing stop loss, I suggest that you can still top up by buying more shares within the dominant range that I have shown you. Now, if you are yet to enter a new position, make sure that you calculate your reward to risk ratio first and consider the fact that RSI is just 9 to 10 points away from entering the classical overbought level. So consider as well the bearish sentiment that came from the true market sentiment chart. Profit taking between 10 to 10.2 is not impossible. So consider those things when you are deciding, before you decide to enter a new position. Nonetheless, I am bullish on PXP in the short term. After PXP, we got MRSGI. MRSGI closed today at 2.71, support is at 2.42, resistance is at 2.86. Foreign investors registered a net foreign buying worth 20 million pesos. Our 10 SMACD combo is not yet valid because MACD is still moving below the signal line, although the price already went a little bit higher than its 10-day simple moving average. RSI is in the neutral level. Risk level remains low. I'm seeing a good news here because there's a bullish divergence between the positive and the negative DMI. The positive DMI already inched a little bit higher than the position of the negative DMI. So I'm keen to see now if our momentum power indicator is bullish. So let's verify it is indeed bullish. So the dominant range here is between 2.7 all the way to 2.72, 2.7 to 2.72. Ignore this lengthy volume bar that was registered at 2.62 because that was a huge cross trade as evident by this very low number of trades at 2.62. So the superhero here, so to speak, is between 2.7 to 2.72. So our momentum power indicator for MRSGI is bullish. The true market sentiment for MRSGI is bullish as well. So here's the thing. If you are planning to enter a new position but you are looking for the validation of the 10 MACD combo, you can preempt that. Meaning to say you can still enter a new position, well, provided if you are an experienced and a disciplined trader, because our momentum power indicator is bullish. Okay, you can enter a new position between the dominant range or within the dominant range. But before you do that, don't forget that extra process that you must always go through when entering a new position. And what is that? The calculation of your reward to risk ratio. Okay, now if some of you still have MRSGIs because your trailing stop loss may have not been hit yet, then you can also go ahead and top up within the dominant range. Do not forget what I mentioned in the introduction, that if and when any of these 10 stocks begin at a price lower or higher than the dominant range, make sure that you post a request for the stock's latest trade and volume distribution and true market sentiment charts in our private clients forum, because recommendations and sentiments may change when things change. That's self-explanatory, I think. Okay, so I am bullish on MRSGI in the short term because of the bullishness of our momentum power indicator. Okay, it will be all the more bullish once our 10 MACD combo becomes once it's revalidated. Okay, after MRSGI we got APX. It closed a little bit above its previous resistance at 1.27, which is now acting as its immediate support. The immediate resistance is pegged at 1.4. Okay, so once it breaks below 1.27, again, 1.06 will act as the nearest or immediate support. Foreign investors, on the other hand, registered a net foreign selling worth 7 million pesos. Nonetheless, the 10 MACD combo is valid. RSI is in the neutral level, risk level is low, and the positive DMI is hovering. The negative DMI, although the upward momentum is not yet within the very strong category. Now let's take a look at the APX's trade and volume distribution with respect to the closing price of 1.28. I would say that the dominant range is between 1.28 to 1.3. Therefore, our momentum power indicator is also bullish. The true market sentiment of APX is bullish as well. So my overall sentiment for APX in the short term is bullish. Take a look at that towering green volume bar, okay? So all our signals are bullish on APX. Well, not all, but most of them, majority of them are bullish. So my overall sentiment for APX in the short term is bullish. If you still have APX, since it's still trading above your trailing stop loss, you can top up within the dominant range. And for those of you who are planning to enter a new position, if you are satisfied with your RRR, reward to risk ratio, then you can go ahead and do a test buy within the dominant range as well. Okay, don't forget to set your trailing stop loss right away. So after APX, we got Web. Web closed today at 4.22. Support is at 3.84. Resistance is at 4.46. I'd like to emphasize the bullish alignment of its three simple moving averages: green, red, blue, purple rather. The 10 MACD combo, on the other hand, is not yet valid because the MACD is still moving above the signal line. No, not above it, below the signal line. Foreign investors registered an insignificant amount of net foreign buying, less than 1 million pesos for web. Risk level is low, and there's already a crossover, or the positive DMI has already crossed a little bit above the negative DMI. So let's see. Once web breaks above the resistance at 4.46 to 4.5, by that time the ADX score should already be above 25 points. So when that happens, I would say that the upward momentum will be very strong already. But as far as today's chart is concerned, the 10 MACD combo is invalid. But let's see if the momentum power indicator is bullish on web. With respect to its closing price of 4.22, I would say that the dominant range is between 4.18 to 4.25. That's closer to the intraday high than the intraday low. Therefore, our momentum power indicator is bullish for web. How about the true market sentiment? It's bearish on the other hand. Okay, it's bearish for web, but overall, my overall sentiment for web is bullish, courtesy of the bullish momentum power indicator. So if you still have web, because it's still trading above your TSL, you can go ahead and top up within the dominant range. If you are planning to enter a new position, make sure you're satisfied with your reward to risk ratio before you hit the test buy button. Take note that the last candlestick is already in between the immediate support and immediate resistance levels. Okay, if it breaks above 4.46, the next resistance is pegged above 5.09. Okay, so there you go for web. After web, we got VITA. So VITA closed today at 1.3, support is at 1.11, resistance is at 1.36. Our 10 MACD combo is valid. Okay, MACD just crossed above the signal line. Congratulations. So our 10 MACD combo is valid, but the DMI seems to be VITA seems to be moving, not only seems to be, but it's still moving above or inside the sideways pattern or consolidation mode. Okay, it's still in the consolidation mode, but the good side of it is that the positive DMI already crossed above the negative DMI. We just want to see VITA breaking above the resistance at 1.36 to break this consolidation pattern shown by not only by the price movement but also by the DMI chart. Risk level is moderate. RSI is in the neutral level. So foreign investors' participation is insignificant, so I'm not going to factor that in and mention that about it so much. Let's take a look at the trade and volume distribution to verify if our momentum power indicator is bullish. So the dominant range here is between 1.26 to 1.3. Yes, momentum power indicator is bullish on VITA. So our true market sentiment, on the other hand, is bearish, unfortunately. So there's still some hesitation in trading VITA at a higher price, probably because some traders know that it's in a consolidation phase. I mentioned a lot of times in my previous video that I myself am not interested in trading stocks that are in a consolidation phase. I'd rather trade stocks that are already trending or are poised to trend. So in this case, I would say that personally, I would rather wait for VITA to pull back near the support or for it to break out. So once it pulls back near 1.11 or once it breaks out at 1.36, then I will have to reassess if the 10 MACD combo or if the momentum power indicator is bullish. Then that's the time that I will consider entering a new position. Okay, so and what if you entered a new position even without those signals? What if you entered a new position in the past and it's still trading above your trailing stop loss. Luckily for you, okay? Then I suggest that you hold your position, don't top up yet. Hold your position, don't top up yet. Now, if I were in your position, then I would only considering topping up if and when VITA breaks above 1.36 or 1.35 to 1.4. Okay? I'd rather wait for some confirmations instead of risking risking it all just because of instinct. Okay? So don't enter a new position yet. If you don't have VITA, don't enter a new position yet. Wait for the uh, check if the momentum power indicator will become bullish again on Thursday. If it becomes bullish again, then even if it's below 1.36, then that could be a confirmation that the traders would want the price to break above 1.36. Then you can do a test buy by a few tranches only. Okay? Nonetheless, I'm not that bullish yet on VITA. I would say that I am on a neutral position on VITA. After VITA, we got URC. URC closed today at 159.6. Support is at 152.4. Resistance is at 177.3. Foreign investors registered a net foreign selling worth 141 million pesos on this index stock. The 10 MACD combo is already invalid. Of course, once we're talking about the top 5 losers, we don't have to check onto the momentum power indicator because it's guaranteed to be bearish. We are already talking about the top 5 losers in this video. RSI is it's downward sloping, moving toward the classical oversold level. Risk level remains low. The negative DMI is increasing its distance from the positive DMI, so this is in favor of the bears. Okay, so the dominant range of URC is it's actually between 162.9 to 164, but it was force closed at 159.6. That's a huge volume. One-fourth of the volume last Wednesday, on Wednesday, was registered at 159.6. It was force closed. So this is still in favor of the bears in this case. So really, the momentum power indicator is bearish rather. The true market sentiment for URC is bullish. Some deep-pocketed investors bought the dips. Again, this is for short-term trading, not for long-term investing. So since we are into short-term trading on URC, well, that's the intent, or that's the intention of this video, to guide those who would like to short URC. So my suggestion is that don't enter a new position yet, and preempt your trailing stop loss if it has been even if it has not been hit yet. For short-term trading purposes, let me repeat that over and over again, because you might think, oh, I have URC, but you have URC for long-term investing, not for short-term trading. Again and again, this video is for short-term trading. If you need a piece of advice for long-term investing on URC, then ignore this video and ask in our private clients forum. It has its own dedicated thread inside the long-term investing section in the private clients forum. Okay, going back to short-term trading now. So don't enter a new position. Preempt your trailing stop loss if you have it. If you don't have URC, don't enter a new position yet. I think I said that 3 times already. Okay, so I'm parroting myself. So let's go to the next stock. I'm bearish on URC. And then now moving on to PHA, it closed today at 0.74. It broke below its previous support at 0.78. And that one is now acting as its immediate resistance. The immediate support is at 0.53. Our 10 MACD combo has already been invalid for the past 2 to 3 weeks already. Okay, RSI is downward sloping, pointing toward the classical oversold level. The risk level is moderate. The negative DMI is hovering the positive DMI, negative over positive. Okay, the dominant range is in favor of the bears because it's closer to the intraday low than the intraday high. it's between 0.74 to 0.78. The true market sentiment for PHA is bullish. Okay, bullish. So perhaps some traders thought that it would really rebound at 0.78, only to see it later moving below that level. So with us, it's enough that we know what the top 10 brokers are thinking about a particular stock, but our ultimate decision making, our ultimate basis for our decision is the status of the 10 MACD and the bullishness or the status of our momentum power indicator. Since our momentum power indicator is bearish in this case, you should avoid PHA for now, unless the momentum power indicator on Thursday will become bullish once again. Again, if and when things change, make sure you post a request for the stock's trade and volume distribution and true market sentiment chart in our private clients forum. I am bearish on PHA for now. Okay, don't enter a new position. I do hope none of you have it. Okay, after PHA, we go to ALCO. ALCO closed today at 1.03. It's at the brink of breaking below its support at 1.03. Resistance remains at 1.15. If it breaks below 1.03, the next support that we're looking at is at 0.86. But for now, the 10 MACD combo is already invalid. RSI is in the neutral level. Risk level is high. However, the DMI, the positive DMI, is still above the negative DMI, but although ADX is above 25 points, so if we are to follow the classical interpretation of this, I would say that the upward momentum is still very strong. But even though the classical interpretation of the DMI and ADX tandem is bullish, take note that our momentum power indicator is already bearish on ALCO. Even so, our 10 MACD combo is invalid. So the dominant range here is between 1.02 to 1.06 in favor of the bears. The true market sentiment of ALCO is neutral. My overall sentiment for ALCO is bearish. If your trailing stop loss has already been hit, since ALCO moved from 1.15, not actually 1.15, but with 1.21, and now it's at 1.03. By this time around, your trailing stop loss should have already been hit and locked in your profits last week already, or early this week. Okay, so I'll just give advice for those who are planning to enter a new position, and I would say that you should postpone that plan unless and until the 10 MACD combo is invalid and or the momentum power indicator becomes bullish. I am bearish on ALCO at this point. Okay, last OPMB. Okay, as early as now, I would say that you should avoid OPMB because there is a liquidity issue on this particular class B of OPM. We're just talking about this stock because it made it in the top 5 losers list. But as early as now, I'm telling you not to trade stocks with some volatility issues. Take a look at the volume. There's so do you see the irregularity of the volume? Okay, so here the 10 MACD combo is already invalid. Of course, the momentum power indicator is bearish. Risk level is already high. Okay, so don't trade OPMB. See the fluctuation of price on the trade and volume distribution chart. Let's ignore this one. Let's see the liquidity here. So this one is another proof that there's a liquidity issue on OPMB. Okay, so I am bearish on OPMB. I'm not really interested to really dig too much on this particular stock. The true market sentiment is bearish on OPMB. Now, last in our list is IRC. Now, this one does not have any liquidity issues, so let's talk more about this. IRC closed today at 1.72, support is at 1.6, resistance is at 1.94. So, unfortunately, the 10 MACD combo is already invalid because the price is already moving below the 10 SMA. And RSI is still in the neutral level, but it's downward sloping. Risk level is moderate. The DMI on the DMI, the positive DMI is still hovering the negative DMI, but I'm seeing a formation of a bearish convergence between the positive and the negative DMI. Support is at 1.6, resistance is at 1.94. Okay, this looks like everything is a dominant range. Okay, it's between 1.7 to 1.81. So let's see. Let's focus on the true market sentiment chart and let's see what do we get from this. Bullish. It's bullish. So they bought the dips. But in our case, since the true market sentiment chart is not our major, it's not a major basis for our final decision, but the momentum power indicator, I would say that we should avoid IRC for now until our momentum power indicator becomes bullish, or as soon as the price moves again above the 10 SMA. That will revalidate our 10 SMACD combo then. Okay, for now, avoid IRC. I would say that your trailing stop loss must have already been hit by this time, so avoid it for now. When significant things appear on the chart of IRC, request for the latest analysis or charts of IRC in our private clients forum. So there you go with my technical analysis for these 10 stocks today in preparation for the next trading day on Thursday. Those Iloilo based traders, I'd like to see you in this coming Saturday. I'll be in Iloilo. Okay, I'll be in Iloilo. I'd like to encourage everyone, especially once you've subscribed in this service, that it's mandatory, not just a suggestion. It's really a prerequisite that you attend this seminar. Okay, so that you will understand the universe of Equilist Analytics. We see things differently here. I see things differently. I use tools differently, so that you can pick my brain in this seminar. So August 3, I'll be in Iloilo. August 10, Cavite. August 17, Makati. I'll be back into Davao on October 26. Next year, I'll be in Baguio, Pampanga, and Cebu. If you are subscribed for 1 year, buy your ticket. You have a 50% discount automatically. Now, if you are subscribed for 6 months and you'd like to have a 50% discount, you can upgrade your subscription, provided you are not being auto billed. Because if you're going to upgrade your subscription but you are being auto billed, especially if it's the old rate, you will lose your being grandfathered in status, meaning to say you will no longer enjoy the old rate, and you will lose the exemption for the future increase in rates. So if you are being auto billed, you are better off staying being auto billed in that status. So only those who are manually renewing their subscription. Manual renewal means you are sending your payment manually, either through online banking or over-the-counter transactions before the billing cycle. If you are paying that way, then you can upgrade your subscription to 1 year, so you can take advantage of the 50% discount. Okay? Alright, I do hope to see you all in this seminar. I guarantee you will appreciate all the more the methodologies that I am teaching you once you attend the seminar. For 6 hours, I'm going to pass my knowledge to you for this particular seminar. So again, my name is JC De Guzman, and have oh, by the way, I forgot, it's the 5th anniversary of Equilist Analytics. Okay, so you can renew your subscription, especially if you are paying manually. You can renew it in advance at the discounted price. Okay, just go to the Facebook page of Equilist Analytics. Okay, I'll also post the announcement in our private clients forum, so you can, if you wish to renew your subscription at the 50% discount for 1 more year. Some of you already extended their subscription yesterday for 3 years. They grabbed the 50% discount and took advantage of it, so they renewed for 2 to 3 years. Some of you yesterday. Okay, again, my name is JC De Guzman, and have a great day. Bye for now.